So you just bought your first real estate investing course. Maybe you just attended one of those 2-day seminars that come into town, and you feel like you can be a success at real estate, uh, but you still have that job. What do you do? When do you know is the right time to leave your job? That's what we're talking about today on the Sub2Deals Show.
Are you looking to up your real estate investing game? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Sub2Deals Show with your host, Sub2 expert William Tingle.
Today's episode is sponsored by Kevin at Strong Jacob and Associates. If you want to learn how to do loan modifications, give Kevin a call today at 253-753-9595. Hey, Sub2ers, my name is William Tingle, Sub2Deals.com. I would like to welcome you to this episode of the Sub2Deals Show, where we talk about all things subject to. Now, occasionally, we do talk about other real estate investing topics, but it's always something to help you with your investing business. And today's topic is, how do I know if it's the right time to leave my job and start investing full time? You know, we get this question a lot in the Sub2 forum and even by email or messenger. I have people all the time that say, hey, William, just flipped my first house, just bought my first Sub2. I think this is something I can do on a regular basis. When do I know it's the right time to leave my job? And, you know, what I say may not be popular with a lot of people, but I'm going to tell you my story anyway. When I got started investing, I had a pretty good job for 1999. I made about $60,000-$70,000 a year. I lived in Macon, Georgia, which is a really affordable place to live. My family and I, we had just bought a house a couple of years before, so we lived in a new home. My wife at the time was used to getting a new car every couple of years. We had 2 kids under the age of 10. We were just like a typical family. And I didn't want to give up that income, even though, you know, I ordered a Carlton Sheets course. I went out immediately and started buying houses. I bought 1 house, 2 houses, 3 houses. And I said, you know, I think I can really do this. But I want my family to be comfortable and feel secure. And so that meant that I had to stay with my job. Now, you got to understand, I was in the restaurant business. I worked 60, 70 hours a week. I was away from home a lot. I didn't get to spend a lot of time with my family, which is one reason that real estate investing or something else interested me, because I didn't want to continue to live that way for an extended period of time. I mean, I'd already done it for 20 years. So I saw that Carlton Sheets course commercial, grabbed it, read it, went out and started buying houses. After I bought 1 house, 2 houses, 3 houses, and decided that it would be something that I could do, I set about making a plan to leave my job. And I think that's key. If you're trying to decide whether or not you should leave your job and start investing full time, take an honest assessment of where you are. What are your monthly obligations? Do you have a lot of debt? Do you have any savings at all? You know, those things are really important. At the time that I started investing, we lived like most families lived. We spent everything that we made. We didn't have any substantial savings. You know, we may have had 1 month of cash in the bank to cover bills if something had happened. We didn't really have any retirement set up or anything. I mean, it cost what we made every month to live on. So we really had to look at our total financial picture. What did we spend our money on? Well, I just told you in the beginning of this. We had a new house. We got a new car every couple of years. I drove the same old car because I put a lot of miles on it for my business. But, you know, so we had to make a plan. So, you know, we spent money on going out to eat. We spent money on cable every month, and the kids had to have designer clothes and that sort of thing. All those things that are important to most families. So in formulating this plan, after I bought my first 2 or 3 houses, I said, I want to leave my job in 12 months. How can I do that? Well, you know, most people will tell you, well, you got to save, you got to save every penny that you can. Well, when you're spending everything you make, it's really hard to save. So really the first step in saving is to cut expenses. Now, As you can imagine, my kids weren't super happy about losing cable, but guess what? That saved us, $100, $150 a month. Yeah, we sold that nice new home that we lived in, and we moved into an apartment. Now, neither my wife nor my kids were super happy about that. Had a nice new house in a new subdivision on an acre of property where the kids could ride their bikes and play and do all sorts of things. But our house payment was over $1,200 a month. And if you're like me, you understand that there's more to owning a home than just the house payment. There's taxes, there's insurance, there's maintenance, there's all kinds of things that have to be done. And so really, if your house payment was $1,200, it probably cost you $1,500 or $1,600 to own that house. We sold our house. We moved into an apartment, and it wasn't a super fancy place. It was in a nice part of town, but it was really, a downgrade from the house that we were in. So we moved into that apartment. We saved $1,000 a month because I think we paid $600 or $650 a month for that apartment. So we cut expenses. We stopped eating out all the time, started eating at home more. Of course, everybody's not super happy about that, but you're making the sacrifices. And it goes back to a saying that I heard years ago that really stuck with me. And that's that if you will do for a short time what others won't, you can do for the rest of your life what others can't. And I was willing to make that sacrifice for 12 months to be able to leave my job, because here's what happens. When you get started investing while you have a full-time job, let's just say you're a normal person and you only work 40 hours a week. You've got time after work every day, on the weekends, that sort of thing, to talk to sellers, to drive for dollars, to cold call, to work on your mailing list, to work on your marketing, to do whatever it is that you need to do to grow your real estate investing business. When you work in the restaurant industry or healthcare industry or other ones that require a lot of time, you may work 60, 70 hours a week. I'm telling you, there are many nights I was up until 2 a.m. learning. We didn't have Facebook then, so we had news groups and things like that where people would post and ask questions and answer. So I was up till 2 a.m. I mean, a lot of days I operated on 4 or 5 hours of sleep and trying to learn as much as I can. So when I had off time, I could be calling sellers. I could be putting out bandit signs. I could be doing the things that I needed to do to grow my business. But we established that I wanted to leave my job in 12 months. We cut our expenses to the absolute bone and went from needing about $5,000 a month to just meet our monthly needs down to under $3,000 a month between the house payment and cable and eating out so much and the new car payment, because we didn't buy a new car that year. So we cut our expenses super low. What that allowed us to do was put that money, that extra money, in the bank. And that's exactly what we did. So we looked up 12 months later. I set a goal for buying houses. I was all about creating cash flow. So pretty much everything I bought was a buy and hold. And sure enough, I said in 12 months, I want to have enough income to meet our monthly needs and have 6 months of reserves in the bank to pay the bills.
The Sub2Deals Show with your host, Sub2 expert William Tingle. We'll be right back.
Listen up, investors. Ever wanted to learn the right way to do a loan modification? Strong, Jacob and Associates has a do-it-yourself course complete with text, video, and legal support. Learn the right way to lower monthly payments and add real value to a distressed seller while you improve your monthly cash flow by securing lower mortgage payments via loan modification. Don't delay. Visit www.preventforeclosure.us or give Kevin a call today at 253-753-9595.
Back to the show, the Sub2Deals Show with your host, Sub2 expert William Tingle.
Because here's something that's really important for a lot of people. You hear people all the time say, I want to invest, but my husband or my wife or my partner is not on board with this. They don't feel good about it. And I can tell you from experience that most times when people aren't on board, it's because of some type of insecurity that they feel about the situation. So if you've got a husband or wife or significant other that is in that boat, maybe that's why they're not on board with you. Do the things and put the things in place that you need to do to make them feel secure. Even after I quit my job, I knew I could always get another one. But when you're in that job mentality, I'm telling you, for months after I quit, I would always read the want ads just in case, just in case something happened and had to go back to work. But those are the things that we did to make it possible to leave your job. Don't go out and flip a house or buy a house subject to and install a buyer and create $300 or $400 or $500 a month in cash flow and say, you know what, this was easy. I can do it again. I'm quitting my job, and put yourself out there. But you're going to be under a lot of pressure, under a lot of stress. Your husband or your wife is going to feel it too. It's going to be difficult. So make a plan. Try real estate investing, buy a house or 2 or 3. And when you say, you know what, I think I can do this thing, make a plan, cut your expenses, put the extra money in the bank, exercise some self-discipline for 6 months or a year or however long it takes you to meet those financial goals that you set. We actually did this thing with our kids to let them know, how much longer until dad can stay home. We drew a big graph on the wall, and we started with a line. Okay, this is the number that we're at. This is how much money we need every month to live. And every time we cut an expense or paid something off, we drew a new line. It got lower and lower and lower. And every time we bought a house, the other line came from the other side of the chart. Every time we bought a house and we added $200 or $300 a month in cash flow, that line got higher. And when those lines intersected, when the cash flow needs got lowered to the point to where the income from real estate investing intersected, we knew that meant freedom. Okay. That's when I could leave a job. That's when I could be home with them all the time. That's when we can travel and do things as a family that we'd never been able to do before. So make sure real estate investing's for you. Make a plan to cut your expenses, raise your income. And I know there are a lot of people out there that'll say, no, I've worked really hard all my life. I deserve a new car every couple of years. I deserve to go on this fancy vacation every year. I deserve to do all these things. And you're probably right. You do deserve them. You have worked hard. But remember that saying that I gave you in the beginning of this: if you'll do for a short time what others won't, you can absolutely do for the rest of your life what others can't. Okay. Make sure real estate investing is for you. Make a plan and follow the plan. As with most things in life, if you have a plan that makes sense and it's doable, you can get things done. So how do you know when it's time to quit your job? Everybody's story is different, but I'm telling you, if you try to go into it and put yourself under a lot of pressure, you're going to make life miserable for yourself, for your family, and anybody that has to deal with you. So set yourself up for success. We want you to be successful real estate investors. I don't want you to be one of those stories that we hear a lot. Hey, I went out, I bought my first house, I flipped it, or I made $10,000, and I said, hey, this is a piece of cake. I'm telling my employer I'm out of here. And then 2 or 3 months later, they're back looking for a job. Don't be that way. So that's it for this episode of the Sub2Deals Show podcast. You can find the show notes for this episode along with a complete transcript at sub2podcast.com. Hey, don't miss our event this September 9th and 10th, 2021 in New Orleans, Sub2Palooza. We're going to have some great real estate trainers there teaching you for 2 full days. If you're a Sub2Deals coaching student, you're going to get a 3rd bonus day of training with advanced topics on things from how to pay less in taxes, how to do your own closings for Sub2Deals, how to generate all the leads you can handle, and how to get liens removed from properties that you buy Sub2. So we're really looking forward to that. Go to sub2palooza.com to learn more about that and get tickets. Until next time, keep learning, keep talking to sellers, and you will buy some houses.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Sub2Deals Show with William Tingle. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit sub2deals.com and on Facebook at Sub2Deals. We'll catch you next time.